Hey friends, welcome to Gardening with Creekside. Today we are excited to announce the second annual Creekside Signature Experience here at Creekside Nursery. That is going to take place on Friday, June the 20th.
June the 20th.
Of 2025. So we want you to go ahead and mark your calendars. We would love for you to be one of our 60 guests this year that
60.
comes to the Creekside Signature Experience. If you are not familiar with the Signature Experience here at Creekside, we had our first one this past summer, and it was a massive success.
Yeah, it was great. Everyone had a wonderful time. We had good positive feedback from everyone. So we're super excited to spread this out to about 10 more. Yes, it's just a lovely time ahead.
It is. So what is the Creekside Signature Experience?
Yes.
So the Signature Experience truly is a signature experience here at Creekside Nursery. You get to get all the behind the scenes looks. You get to take tours of the signature garden here at the nursery. You get to take production tours and see what it's like for production, for the shipping department.
Yeah, and I think this year on the add-on to that production tour, we're actually going to crank up the machine.
Yes, because we had a lot of feedback from our folks this year that said, we would love to be on the potting line.
We're going to plant some plants, folks.
So we're going to put you to work. You're going to do some fun work. It won't be a lot. It'll just give you enough of a field to see.
We're going to plant the whole house.
So not only do you get to do production, but then we end the day with a self-guided tour at the house. So there are no gardens off limits at the house. You get to take tours. We will have a lovely cocktail hour with some beverages, some hors d'oeuvres, and then we end the night with a fine catered meal underneath the big top, a lovely tent, lighting, flowers, all the fun things. Now, when you first come, we are going to have a great time welcoming you in. You get a wonderful swag bag full of really unique items that are only specific to the Creekside Signature Experience.
Yeah. And a lot of those things, they're special gifts coming. We're not going to talk about them.
No, right. But we always do, like one of the fun things, and this is what I thought would be really great, is for every year we have a different t-shirt. So every year there's going to be a fun new design. So even if you came this year and you come next year, you're going to get a completely new, different Creekside Signature Experience t-shirt. So you'll get your swag bag. We have kind of opening sessions where Jerry and I will talk. We did a Q&A where people got to ask us questions. Very candid conversations with one another. And then our guest speaker this coming year will be the one, the only, Mr. Marshall Dirks. And Marshall is, I joke and say he is Mr. Proven Winners, right? So he is kind of...
And he's very humble about that.
Yeah, he doesn't like that.
He really is. He doesn't really like that. I mean, he has a big, cool team that supports him, but he's very smart, and he's very smart in marketing, and he's a wonderful personality. You're going to enjoy engaging with him beyond just the time that he will have. Right. And it'll be really special. So that's a little add-on.
Marshall is he's a caring, lovely man who has a very magnetic personality. He gets so excited about plants and talking with people and connecting with people and hearing stories. So he would love to connect with you and your story, and he will share stories as well. So he will be our guest speaker on Friday morning. Then we do the tours. We have a fun catered lunch. We have snacks throughout the day. We really kind of support our local businesses here to shore up and have a great Southern Creekside experience here at the nursery. And then we invite you to come back on Saturday here at the nursery because you will be able to, of course, shop. And then this year we're going to do something a little different.
Yeah,
so Jerry, I'm going to let you explain that.
Yeah, we're going to do a little add-on to this, and there will be other add-ons throughout the day on Friday.
Sure.
We haven't got into all those details, but there will, just from some of the feedback that we've gotten, they actually wanted more learning. They wanted more like education. So that'll happen throughout the day on Friday. We have lots of ways we're going to insert that, but one of the big ones is going to be, you're going to come back on Saturday morning, and then we're going to have some special vendors that we deal with, such as a Spoma or
power
planter, you know, and really go detailed into those things.
Right, so it'll be more like a vendor fair. So we'll have tents set up for everybody, all the different companies, and then you can just walk through. So you can, if you've got a question about power planter, if you've got a question about fertilizers, we're going to add more of these vendors as we go through, but that will give you just a great hands-on time that you can talk directly to these companies and get your questions answered. And
the most simplest things, it's just like the potting soils that we use, and you know that might even be, you know, one of us talking to you on Friday about why it's important to use certain types of soils, you know?
Sure.
So it's just really diving into the planting and the gardening in a special way. And we're, you know, we think 60 is probably going to be our top. This is our threshold because we want that intimate time with each one of you.
But so, because this year we had our guests were at 50, and it was a great number. We think we could add on just a little bit by that 10 without losing that small intimate feel, because we were able to have plenty of time to talk with one another, to share stories. We had so many guests ask us questions. We were learning about their gardens. We had folks this year. We had folks from Canada. We had folks from California, Washington State, Texas. We had multiple people from Texas, you know, all through the South, North Carolina. So it's not just a regional thing. We had folks from all over come in and stay with us, and it was an absolutely lovely, wonderful experience that really was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was great.
It was. So if you are interested and you would like to come to the second annual Creekside Signature Experience here on Friday, June the 20th, 2025, so next June, we will have a link. You can go to the website, gardeningwithcreekside.com, but I will provide a direct link for you. It's going to give you the rough outline for today. We're going to have, of course, all the final details will be, you know.
Yeah, final details. I mean, you know, we've got the opening. We have like a mini breakfast here. We have the opening. We were conversating with you prior to that.
Yeah.
You go on to tours, and then we're going to have a catered lunch.
I tell you what, I would say this year though, the most popular, without a hands, we have not even talked about this, but hands down, without a doubt, the most popular session of the day was what?
Mimi's Garden.
Mimi's Garden, that's right. So you got to take a tour by Mimi herself in her garden, and she loved it. But every time a group would come back, they were like, oh my gosh, that was our favorite thing, hands down. So you will get to meet Mimi, you will get to go into her garden and take a tour. So check out the link, or you can just go directly to gardeningwithcreekside.com. See that, you can go ahead and sign up. Go ahead and make your reservations, and as soon as you sign up, we will be in contact with you. Mary Claire will be in contact with you to make sure if you have any questions, anything like that. We will help you, find a hotel, because this year we kind of blocked a hotel. So that way, if you don't know where to stay, that kind of thing, if you have questions about transportation or any of that, Mary Claire will be happy to help you. So we are looking forward to next year's Creekside Signature Experience on Friday, the June 20th. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take a little tour here of the Signature Garden, because she is looking fabulous here the end of September.
You're going to want to watch this, because this may be
it.
The last video of the Signature Garden in 2024. There's a tropical storm coming. The Cleome in here is just splashing.
Yes.
It is on fire.
So are the dahlias.
The dahlias and the purple fountain grass, and there's so much she wants to show you right now. And those of you watching the video right now, you're going to want to see this.
Yeah. So let's do a little tour. All right, my friends, so let's take a tour of the Signature Garden. I'm just going to tell you, we were looking at the radar and rain is knocking on our door, so we're going to hopefully get this tour in before some rain starts and comes to us. But of course, we are here at the Creekside Nursery's Signature Garden, and proven winners. We partner with them a lot, of course. Obviously, we love their relationship with us. We love their plants. So when they came to us a couple of years ago and asked us if we wanted to do a signature garden, we jumped at the chance. We are just about to hit our 1-year anniversary of this garden. So this garden is not even a year old yet. So there's A lot can happen in a year, my friends. You have been with us this whole time as we have transitioned this space, and overall, we could not be more happy with how things are going. The garden changes throughout the year, right? So the signature garden changes, your garden changes. We had a beautiful, spectacular summer because these raised beds, the front of them, were filled with it was the annual of the year, right? It's the Supertunia Vista Jazzberry. They were stunning. However, it's the end of September here in North Carolina. They're done, they've moved on. And so we had to go and pull them out, not a problem. Everybody else is shining and taking their place in the garden. Right now, what is spectacular? The cleomes, the purple fountain grass, the caladiums. Here in the raised beds, we have got the Mystic Illusion Dahlia. We have got the Golden Dreams Coleus, just looking amazing. Lantana, right, just popping. All of those plants that love the heat, the humidity, that can survive the summers here in North Carolina, those are the ones that are looking amazing right now. So we're gonna go in and take a look at those. Everybody loves Superbena Pink Cashmere, and she is a beautiful beast, and I mean that in the most positive way. But this plant is super vigorous. She had gotten a massive, huge haircut. I mean, basically down to the ground. Has reflushed and is doing great. But as you can see right now, the star of the show is the Mystic Illusion Dahlia. This is like a near black foliage. We've got the Golden Dreams Coleus right here. Perfect for fall. Everybody is looking great. And they're just kind of taking over. I'm not really messing with them right now. They're just doing their thing, getting nice and big and beautiful. Next year, I will plant this completely differently because you cannot even see our little lime punch hydrangeas in there. The honeybees are loving the dahlias. So if I get buzz, it's just the honeybees. But so next year we'll plant it completely differently. Not as thick and not as full, right? Because the shrubs are going to be getting bigger so we can reduce our number of our annuals. But for this year, she was glorious. The outer beds, of course, are the perennials and the shrubs. Being a first year, they're still a little slow, right? They are sleeping this year, right? We say the first year they sleep, then they creep, and then they leap. The beautiful thing about annuals, they just leap. They just go straight to the leaping process. Y'all, can we talk about this plant? This thing is probably, I think, is one of the most underused, underrated plants, especially if you're in a hot climate. Blew my mind, XL Ovobulus. This plant is absolutely insane. It is the most low maintenance, high performing, gorgeous, almost like a ground cover. This is really as tall as it gets. It gets nice and wide. We have these on the corners of all of the annual beds, and it is just a phenomenal plant. I love having the blue and the yellow of the lantana right next to each other, and then of course the grasses. This is just your good old purple fountain grass, right? You cannot go wrong with the classics. The more water you give purple fountain grasses, the bigger and better they get. And speaking of bigger and better, Senorita Rosalita Cleome. Y'all, these are one plant. Each little mound is a plant, and this is what they do. I have not trimmed this at all. I have just left it alone, and it is just a phenomenal plant. You can see it is every bit of 3 feet, if not close to 3.5 feet tall, and nice and wide. One of the main reasons we joke about with this tropical storm coming through, you never know what's going to happen. Like, the weather has been changing constantly. But if we were to get some wind and rain at the same time, then these could easily kind of lay down. The grass is the same thing. So that's why we want to make sure that we document how everybody is looking before the potential of a storm comes through. And then of course the caladiums. Now, if you look really, really close at the caladiums, they're starting to show a little wear and tear of this season, right? So maybe you've got some little burn marks, maybe there's a couple of holes on them. Overall, they are doing phenomenal. This, I don't remember which variety this is. I'll figure it out and put it up on the screen for you. But caladiums in general, there are so many different colors. Choose which one you want, right? Choose the color that you want and then use it. Now, another beautiful beast in the garden this year, this is the Bewitched Green with Envy. And I do like this one out of all of them because it tends to be the more tight and compact. So it's nice and thick. However, it will trail very vigorously. So we've had to trim it back a couple of times. But you can see at this point of the year, I'm just letting it go. We're letting everybody get connected with one another. As we say, they're not dating, they're married. They're just all up in each other's business and everybody's going together, whether it's the salvia or the grass or the lantana, that nice full look. All 4 of the inside beds here around the fountain are planted the exact same. Have the same number of plants, have the same, layout and everything, but you can kind of see how certain beds will have a little bit of a different look just based on how the plants are growing, right? So everybody is doing really well. Again, y'all, one grass. If you're not using grasses in your garden, you are missing out. I adore purple fountain grass. If you're putting it in a container and you don't like it because it turns brown it's probably because it just can't get enough water. Your grasses typically have really extensive root systems. So if it's not working in a pot, try it in the landscape because as you can see, again, is a big, beautiful grass and they get huge. I mean, they're all just absolutely stunning. Now, let's come back over here. This year, this is a great example here, talking about using your annuals to fill in. Here on the back bed of the Signature Garden, we have a bed and we have All That Glitters and Glows viburnum. These are beautiful shrubs from Proven Winners that has the male and the female, but you can see where it produces these blue berries. Not a blueberry, a blue berry. Your birds will love this, but in this plant, they have both the male and the female. So you do not have to have a male counterpart to get the berries. These are self-pollinating plants. These will get to be 4 to 5 feet tall and wide. Now, first year, they're sleeping. Now, yes, they have grown and are doing well, but we came in here with the Diamond Frost Euphorbia to fill in. There are 3 plants here. And those 3 plants have filled in and given a lovely look between the glitters and glows. Now next year we'll do something else here, right? We'll do some sort of annual, but it will maybe instead, let's say I do Diamond Frost again, instead of putting 3, I'll only put 2, right? Or I'll do something more tight and compact, like the double up begonias. They would be gorgeous here. So as the shrubs are growing, you fill in with your annuals to give it a nice full look. So that is what's happening here. Now, another star of the show that we haven't really talked about very much is this little nook back here. And when we had the Signature experience, this is where we did kind of the morning session, right? And we have planted back here Senorita Blanca Cleome. It is the white Cleome. Look at this. Is it not absolutely gorgeous? They are huge, massive plants that are doing a phenomenal job. Y'all, these are not on irrigation. I think we watered them maybe once or twice in the very beginning, like within the first 2 weeks of planting them. They have not been watered since. Now, Jerry did amend this bed and brought in some great, like a compost mixture here. So it does have great enriched soil, which is huge when you know you're doing your annual beds. If you have an area in your garden that you're like, these are always going to be annuals here, I cannot stress enough that you want to amend that bed with as much organic material as you possibly can. Get that great land and sea. Get some aged pine bark fines, get that great compost, whatever regionally it is that you have, work it in with your native soil or just build up. These are heavy feeders. And these have only been fed through the compost. We have not watered.
They had Hollytone in the 3 gallon.
Okay.
Biotone when they planted.
Okay, so Jerry said he's not on a mic, so we started these out in 3-gallon containers, and so they had a shot of Hollytone when they were in that 3-gallon when we were growing them up, because when we planted them we wanted to have kind of a big presence to start with because of the signature experience. And then when we planted them, they were, of course, we used the biotone. That's it. No water-soluble fertilizer, but this is what happens when you choose those great plants that are just the workhorses. Everybody doesn't have to be a diva in the garden. So, Senorita Blanca Cleome. Another one that is doing well. I just want to share this with you. Now, you look at it right now and you're like, well, it's a green bush. Big whoop. Well, this is Aphrodite. This is Aphrodite, and she's a calacanthus. Great native shrub that will get big. We planted this probably at not a very good time. I just remember it was super hot when we planted it. But this will get to be a nice big shrub. It is deciduous, puts on deep like maroon flowers that smell just delicious. But look at all this beautiful new growth on her. At now, again, not on irrigation, I don't have to worry about her. She's well established. We had some water bags around her that we first did, I don't know, maybe 1 or 2 times, but is doing really well. So yay for that. But if you just kind of sit back and you look at the whole signature garden, it's pretty phenomenal that it's only a year old. Now, those of you that have been following us, you know that we had some woes with the sod. We put in the sod in late November, early December last year. So 2023, when the garden was done, one of the last things that we did was we laid down the sod, and it was beautiful, and it was instant green, and it was lush, and it was lovely. It did great forever. We have fescue here. We grow fescue. But you will remember that this summer we got hit really hard by the fall armyworms. These are caterpillar grub-like bugs that they go into the soil and they eat the roots of turf. So whether it is fescue, whether it is a farmer's field, like a hay field, they love fresh, tender roots of turf, and they completely demolished the garden before we realized it. So we resodded. We killed the armyworms, and then we got new sod and we resodded everything. Now, when the sod came to us, it was already under stress because one, time of year, right? So we put this in end of August. Was it early September? End of August, early September when we first put it in. So by nature, it's going to be, it's not in the winter. And then they were coming off of some stress too, I think, from some armyworms. It didn't come with armyworms, but they had been hit, they had treated it. So the sod was a little stressed when it got here. We knew it wasn't looking as primo when it first came like it did the first time, but we just kind of chalked it up to the time of the year. So we turned out there were some issues with the sod, but we have been working with Super Sod. They are helping us rectify those situations. But I just want you to see, yes, there are some areas that are stressed, and you can see within the same area. So we have patches that did not take, they're under stress. They're going to help us. We're going to replace these sections. But then you have other areas that look phenomenal. Like you can see, like if you look straight down here, this is all on irrigation. So you can see what was really good, but then what pieces were stressed and are not primo. So those pieces will get replaced. But the key is to communicate with the company as soon as you notice that something's wrong. And I don't care what company this is, right? Whoever, whether it's a home improvement or landscaping, whatever. Communicate early and often with them. Send the pictures. Let them know what's happening. Work with them. They want you to be successful. And so you can see, like, look at this. Like, this patch is absolutely primo. It is gorgeous. And then we look over here and there's one section that's not, right? So we're going to go through and fix those. The company's been really great with us, helping us, working with us. I think that side is set to arrive this week, Wednesday. So, but maybe, depends on the storm. But when the cooler temperatures hit, the heat kind of let up a little bit, the fescue started to pick up. But just communicate. That's what we were doing with Super Sod, and they've been really, really helpful. And yeah, so it's a process, my friends. Even when you have professional display gardens, it doesn't always go smooth. It's a lot of work, but it is worth it, and we could not be happier with how the garden looks overall, how it's growing and developing, and yeah, onward we go, and it'll be a lot of fun. So we hope you found this fun, informative, inspirational. We would love for you to come spend the day, really 2 days with us here at Creekside for the Signature Experience next June 20th. So if you're interested, you can go ahead and sign up. I will say it makes amazing Christmas presents, anniversary presents. We had a lot of folks who were coming as couples, but we also had some single folks that just said, I want to do this. I want to come visit, I want to come see you, I want to meet you. And so they came and we had a fabulous time. So check out gardenwithcreekside.com or the link in the video description. As always, we hope you have found this, like I said, fun, informative, and inspirational. We'll see y'all in the next video. Bye, friends.